So we now have to come out and speak out. As our revelations continue to be verified, we now hope American people can join us in eliminating the Chinese Communist Party. And we're not asking you to give us money or arms or die of revolution or wars. All America needs to do is very simple. Stop supporting the Chinese Communist Party. And decouple from the Chinese Communist Party technologically and financially. And leave the rest to the new Federal State of China. And we ensure you the elimination of the Chinese Communist Party in China. Today, hundreds of millions of people, the majority of them are working covertly in the party in China and supporting us. We have 21 chapters around the globe, and we are more united and determined than ever. And I truly believe soon enough, we'll stand atop the Beijing Pangu Plaza again and put Xi Jinping, the dictator, on a Nuremberg trial for his crimes and make it the devil's last night. That night, we will see the end of the evil communist regime. That night, we will reunite with our loved ones. And that night, for the very first time in history of that soil, we will see a free China, a new China, the new Federal State of China.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to our news and information program, where we talk about just how evil the Chinese Communist Party actually is and how they have over the years infiltrated deep into the Western world. Once again, I'm here with Mr. Cao, who is from the UK, and my name is Sima, and I'm from the US. Hey, Mr. Cao, over to you.
Hey, Sima, thank you. Hello, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Now, let's get straight into our first story. New evil axial alliance. China seeks alternative world order with Beijing at its centre. Axios, November the 26th, 2025. China is no longer merely rising. It is actively engineering an alternative world order with Beijing at its centre and fellow authoritarian regimes as its pillars. A new report from the US-China Economic and Security Review Commission lays out a stark picture. Communist China, Russia, Iran and North Korea are all forging a mutually reinforcing bloc that undercuts Western influence and complicates Washington's strategic choices. From boosting Russia's war machine to escalating grey zone pressure on Taiwan and the Philippines, Beijing is testing the boundaries of global stability. This message is clear, and the US must shore up its space capabilities, expose China's hidden support to Moscow, and prepare for a more assertive Beijing that believes in geopolitical winds are finally blowing their way. Well, I'll tell you what, Steve, I'm beginning to get worried. I mean, really worried. I mean, this report says that China is building an alternative world order. Are we looking at a new Cold War with China, Russia, Iran and North Korea? I mean, it sounds like a modern day axis of evil. What does China want? A Beijing-centered world? And what does that mean for Taiwan and the Philippines? Could the US actually be losing all of their influence?
Your concerns are real. History tells us major powers always try to shape the world to serve their interests. The British Empire The US after World War II and now China sees its moment, with Russia stuck in a war and needing help, and Iran and North Korea craving support. Beijing has partners who also want to weaken the West.
But China helping Russia's war machine, I mean, that feels like a direct attack on international stability.
Yeah, it's a serious challenge. China is not hiding its goals anymore. Expand influence, push the US Navy back in the Pacific, pressure Taiwan, test Manila in the South China Sea. Beijing believes the wind is blowing its way. And when authoritarian states reinforces each other, the world becomes more dangerous.
Yeah, but Sima, what now? I mean, are we heading for more conflict?
Not necessarily, but the US must adapt, strengthen alliances, protect space assets, and reveal the hidden support China gives Moscow. At the same time, diplomacy still matters. Even rivals can avoid disaster if they talk.
Wow, I know, but it sounds like the future is going to be pretty tense, yeah?
Yes, a dramatic chapter of world history is being written right now, with power, pride, and fear all on the same stage. Now, next, we'll talk another story. Chinese state propaganda outlet calls for nuclear strikes on Japan. Washington Times, November 24, 2025. Tensions between China and Japan have escalated dramatically after Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takahashi suggested military intervention if China attacks Taiwan. China responded with an aggressive propaganda campaign, including an online outlet, Guancha, publishing a controversial report advocating nuclear missile strikes on Japan. The report detailed plans to use 72 nuclear warheads to target military bases, industrial centers like Toyota and Sony, and critical infrastructure, aiming to deindustrialize and demilitarize Japan and cause massive casualties. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi stated Japan had crossed a red line, invoking historical grievances. Despite the threats, Takahashi remains firm, and Japan's Defense Minister Kenjiro Kazumi confirmed the deployment of surface-to-air missiles on Yonaguni Island near Taiwan to bolster defense. Taiwanese officials support Japan's security measures. During a phone call, Chinese President Xi Jinping told President Trump that Taiwan's annexation is an integral part of the post-war international order. U.S. analysts are urging a strong American counter-propaganda campaign and international condemnation of China's explicit nuclear threats, highlighting past similar rhetoric. Concerns also emerged over a recent U.S. missile withdrawal from Japan, which critics argue emboldens Beijing and amidst rising regional instability. This is terrifying. A Chinese propaganda outlet just talked about the nuclear strikes on Japan, 72 warheads. That's insane. Targeting cities, factories, millions of people. How did we get here? Is Japan's support for Taiwan really worth this kind of a threat? And what does history have to do with it?
I mean, the Chinese Communist Party, they need to calm down and grow up. They are acting like children as usual. I mean, yes, the rhetoric is shocking, but remember, propaganda is meant to scare and test reactions. Communist China is, as usual, acting like spoilt little brats and signalling anger at Tokyo's warning, because that's all it was, a warning that Japan may well indeed defend Taiwan if China attacks. Now, Beijing sees Taiwan as unfinished business from World War II. Japan fears that if Taiwan falls, Japan could easily be next. The past is never forgotten, Sima, in the East Asia.
Still, nuclear threat, doesn't that break every norm? And the U.S. pulling missiles from Japan, doesn't that look weak?
Yeah, it does raise concern. That's why Japan deployed new surface-to-air missiles on Yogaguna, right next to Taiwan. Tokyo's message is quite clear. We are not helpless. Taiwan supports that because they know their fates are connected. China's leaders are also playing to nationalism at home, using old wartime trauma to justify strong language.
So, are we heading towards a war? Nobody can survive?
Well, I mean, hopefully, but not necessarily. I mean, the US and the Allies can push back with clear communication and strong deterrence. China knows that nuclear war would destroy its future too, but the danger is real. Miscalculation, pride, and old wounds can set fires.
Feels like we are walking on a tightrope.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think we are. I mean, the Pacific is now the center of global tension, and every move really matters. Well, let's take a look at our first video. It's through with Miles Squad. It's dated the 25th of November back in 2022.
Next, when the CCP invades Taiwan, it will be in the form of a blitzkrieg, meaning they will not allow America to get involved in the war. But once America is involved, the CCP is already prepared for a fight to the death. This is why the CCP has deployed a massive number of missiles in the Middle East, South America, in the backyard of America, even in Cuba and Venezuela. Recently, the CCP has mostly been trying everything they could to infiltrate, both politically and militarily, in the Middle East, the Balkans, and around America. Then they will deploy so-called cruise missiles that can target U.S. submarines, as well as establishing missile factories in the Middle East. It really has the intention to start a war, and it is prepared to fight to the death. Therefore, I think that the CCP has become mad to a point where the Lao Baixing, or even I, cannot comprehend. The CCP even has a fantasy. That is, when the vaccine disaster arrives in the West, there will be a more than 50% chance that their economy, traffic, and public service will all come to a halt. Then the CCP will seize the opportunity to take down US dollar, take over Taiwan, completely control Asia, and destroy Japan. They have said, once Japan makes a move, we will drive them into the ocean and completely destroy their country. This is something the CCP is 100% capable of. Before, when I was in China, I often had dinner with people from PLA. They believe that as soon as Japan fire the first shot, they will just nuke Japan. Nothing will be spared.
Well, there we go. I mean, now for our next story. Taiwan security chief fights against Beijing's propaganda. And it's ROC Taiwan, not PRC, Beijing, that fought in World War II with the US. This is a story from Taiwan News, November the 25th, 2025. National Security Council Secretary General Joseph Wu strongly rejected Beijing's historical claims following a phone call between US President Donald Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Now, Beijing had asserted that Taiwan's return to China is integral to the post-World War II orders and claimed the US and China actually fought shoulder to shoulder against fascism during the war. Wu refuted these assertions because they're not bloody true, stating that Taiwan has never been ruled by the People's Republic of China. He emphasized the fact that the PRC, founded in 1949, well after World War II, could not have participated in World War II, which concluded in 1945. I mean, Wu further characterized China under the CCP as modern-day fascist militarism disguised as communism. Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council also criticized Communist China's recent establishment of a commemoration day on Taiwan's restoration, deeming it irrelevant to the PRC, which made no significant contribution to the war against Japan. I mean, Sima, history is suddenly a battlefield now. China says the US and China fought together in World War II, and that's absolutely not true, and that Taiwan belongs to this post-war order. But Taiwan's security chief, Joseph Wu, is simply fired back, saying the PRC didn't even exist during the war. Why are they arguing about the past right now? And why does Beijing insist Taiwan is returned to China?
Because history gives political power. Beijing wants people to believe Taiwan is part of its victory in World War II. If that story spreads, the world might see reunification as normal. But Wu is right. In World War II, the allied partner was the Republic of China, based in Taiwan today. The People's Republic of China was founded 4 years after the war ended.
So Taiwan is trying to remind everyone, we fought with America, not with Beijing.
Exactly. And Wu went further, calling the CCP modern-day fascist militarism. That shows how high emotions are. Taiwan sees China's propaganda as not just lies, but as preparation for something worse.
And Communist China creating this new Taiwan Restoration Day, I mean, how is that even related?
It's part of the same narrative campaign, rewriting history to claim Taiwan always belonged to Beijing. If people believe it, invasion looks like justice, not aggression.
So the war isn't just over land, it's over memory.
Yes, whoever controls the story of the past shapes the future. That's why this fight over history is deadly serious. Okay, we'll start another story. The CCP tied Binance founder sued by enabling Hamas-linked payments. Financial Times, November 24, 2025. A new federal lawsuit has accused the CCP tied Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, and its founder, Changpeng Zhao, of enabling over $1 billion in payments to Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, fired by 306 American families of victims from October 7, 2023. The complaint alleges Binance acted as an unregulated financial channel, deliberately failing to monitor illicit funds despite previous warnings and U.S. enforcement actions. Plaintiffs argue Binance lacks controls directly contributed to the attack's financing, citing forensic traces connecting the exchange's activity to terror-linked accounts. This suit follows Zhao's 2023 guilty plea to Bank Secrecy Act violations, for which he served a 4-month prison sentence and a $4 billion penalty paid by Binance. Okay, this new lawsuit against Binance, it feels like a spy novel. The founder, Zhao, accused of enabling over $1 billion in payment to Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran's God corps. That's not small crime. And we say crypto is now a pipeline for terrorism. And what's this about ties to the CCP? Is China somehow involved?
Yeah, but Communist China's always bloody involved, Sima. I mean, this lawsuit claims Binance became a secret financial channel. Fast money, no questions asked. US investigators warned everyone for years and years, and still funds flowed into accounts linked to all the terrorists. The fact that Zhao already pleaded guilty before and Binance paid a $4 billion penalty gives this new case much more weight.
So the victims' families think Binance helped make the October 7 attack possible?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they argue, well, that's controls like terror groups had money within crypto, and the political angle matters. Washington sees China expanding influence in finance and tech. A CCP-tied exchange involved in terrorism, that looks like a national security threat.
This sounds like a reason for the US to crack down even harder on crypto and on China.
Sima, exactly. Expect much stronger regulations, maybe even sanctions, maybe even pressure on countries using Binance. The US wants to show if you finance terror, even indirectly, there is always a huge price to pay.
The battlefield isn't just land and oceans anymore.
No, it's cyberspace, blockchains, bank servers. Anyway, there's always something else going on. And now for our final story. The Fugees rapper Pras Michel is sentenced to 14 years in prison for illegal lobbying for the Chinese Communist Party. This is a story from Quantum News on November the 21st, 2025. Grammy-winning Fugees rapper Pras Michel was sentenced to 14 years in prison for funneling millions and millions of dollars in foreign money from Malaysian financier Jolo, the illegitimate child of a CCP official, Meng, convicted on 10 counts, including conspiracy and acting as an unregistered foreign agent for the Chinese Communist Party. Michel allegedly stayed over $120 million through straw donors and took the money as free money to help Lo secure a photo with Obama. The case included testimony from Leonardo DiCaprio and former Attorney General Jeff Sessions. And Michel plans to appeal the sentence, being the unregistered foreign agent for the CCP, the Justice Department also accused him of seeking to influence the Trump administration to facilitate the extradition of the wonderful, but nevertheless, what they call the Chinese dissident and #1 CCP enemy, the mighty Miles Guo, who remains in custody to this day. So, okay, this one shocked me really. I mean, a Grammy-winning rapper, Pras Michel, from the band The Fugees, sentenced to 14 years in jail for secretly lobbying for the Chinese Communist Party. It's like a bloody movie. Money, celebrities, even Leonardo DiCaprio in court. It sounds unreal. How did a music star get pulled into global politics like this?
Yeah, it's a wild story. He took over $120 million from Joe Low, a fugitive Malaysian investor tied to a powerful CCP family. Some of the cash allegedly bought influence in Washington, campaign donations, access to Obama, and later attempts to persuade Trump officials.
And all of this to help Communist China target dissidents.
Yes, the Justice Department says Pras tried to help Beijing extradite its top enemy, Miles Guo, a very vocal anti-CCP figure working as a foreign agent without registering is a serious federal crime. That's why he got hit with 10 felony counts.
So entertainment isn't just entertainment anymore. It's all part of the battlefield.
Exactly. Influence campaigns reach into Hollywood, music, tech, sports, because public opinion is power. Beijing wants friends in high places. Washington wants to expose those connections. The Pras Michel case is a warning. Soft power can hide sharp edges.
Feels like every headline lately is saying the same thing. The competition is everywhere.
Yes, in diplomacy, on the internet, in culture, even backstage at a concert. It's not just countries fighting now. It's network, money, fame, all pulling strings behind the curtain. Now it's time for us to watch another video clip of Miles Guo, dated March 8th, 2023.
Dear fellow fighters, think about this for a moment. The piece on Pras Michel's report was published on Bloomberg. Bloomberg is a friend of Wang Qishan's. I heard that Bloomberg consulted many people before reporting, but Wang Qishan actually let him publish it. Just think about what the meaning behind this is. Think about why Wang Qishan allowed it to be published, brothers and sisters. There is a deeper underlying meaning here. When Pras Michel and Elliot Brody went to Shenzhen, they just flashed their passports, and over a dozen cars were allowed to whiz by. Pras Michel came back and boasted about it everywhere. Wow, I'm wonderful. I don't even need a passport check when I go to China. How much money did he get? $80 to $90 million for a celebrity. That's the money spent on deporting me. In all the single bribes in American history, especially to a celebrity, including the single bribe of Higginbotham. This case was the first time in history that a Department of Defense lawyer or an officer was bribed by a foreign country. Second, the bribe to Pras Michel was the largest single bribe. Third, the largest and most direct foreign bribe that went directly to the White House. You know, President Trump promised him to meet him at the White House. Come on, I'll see you. When they arrived at the White House, Ambassador Tsui Tiankai, rumored to be itching to swap his suit for a military uniform, accompanied by a group of military attaches, the Secretary of the Political and Legal Affairs Commission, and everyone from the Ministry of Security, arrived at the White House and was immediately barred from entering the gate. What kind of movie would this be if we were to film it? This was just one of the scenes. Pras Michel went directly from Thailand to Hong Kong, played erotic games in Hong Kong, and then crossed the border directly to China. And then Wang Qishan, China's number 2, was smoking a cigarette, surrounded by a bunch of beautiful girls. I heard that after the meeting, there was a high-end orgy with the most expensive drugs. They were all on drugs. These bastards. Think about what that scene would be like. If we were to film this, how many attorneys general and deputy attorney general would have been to the Chinese embassy to meet with Sui Tiankai? Sui Tiankai had to stop doing his duty. Imagine Sui Tiankai, an ambassador to the United States, dared to meet with a U.S. Department of Justice lawyer. Just imagine how audacious and ignorant he was. Then think about how Wu Zheng, Bruno, and Yang Lan, calling themselves Xi Jinping's very own head doctors, tried to recruit Bannon. And then Xi Jinping's first words when he met Trump were, "Do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Everything is not important. Only one thing is important. Send Miles Guo back to China." The translator was completely stupefied. Someone told me that I can verify this with Bannon. Even Trump was stupefied. In 2017, Xi Jinping met with Trump and said, "Do me a favor. Can you do me a favor? Get Guo Wengui back to China." The translators on either side were stupefied. Think about Elliot Broidy, Steve Wynn, and Pras Michel. He's a singer, but was also a broker for President Clinton, President Obama, and First Lady Obama. They were powerful figures who had access to the White House and frequently visited. Think about all of these powerful figures working together against me. During that time, I still live stream to you every day. If I was scared for even a second, I'd not be a human. If I was scared for even a second, I'd not be a human. In the end, it was Secretary Sessions, Matt Pottinger, Attorney Chris, and Mr. Bannon who took care of it. But that was only one part. You don't know the first part, and you have no idea what the second part is. It got even more intense in July. I have many stories and haven't told yet. Everyone must remember this, whether in Europe or the United States. The most terrifying things are American traitors and CCP spies. Unless these people are annihilated, they will always be a scourge to humanity. Fellow fighters, please carefully read every single word in this report about Pras Michel. Only then will you be worthy of participating in the whistleblower movement that showed our achievement, courage, and value. It is also the best example of our unwavering commitment to truth. Did any of the past event or fact prove that whatever I said was falsified?
Okay, over to you now, Mr. Carr.
Well, that's about it for this week. I mean, many thanks to everyone for listening to our broadcast. I mean, we will be back with more news and information next week. I mean, but always remember, it's very important to remember that communism, it's never the answer. And if we work together, we can actually defeat and destroy communism forever, because together we are stronger, and together we can and we will take down the evil CCP. Well, bye for now. Take very good care of yourselves, and we will see you all next week. Bye for now.
See you next time.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.